Battlefield 2042 is out for a few days now and I could test it extensively. But it's also a quite controversial release, which I will demonstrate you here on PC. But I also can't fully understand all the complaints that are currently available online. But let's have a look into the game. So let's start with the menu stuff here. So you see we have 3 game modes. I won't show you every game mode here, but maybe talk a little bit about it. This is your classic Conquest. There's also Breakthrough, which is something that was also, I think, in a somewhat similar form in previous games. So Conquest is just capturing flags. Breakthrough is also capturing flags, holding them, and then it's basically a mixture between Conquest and the Rush mode from, I don't know, Bad Company 2. Something like this. So you capture the flags, you hold them, and then you unlock the next area, and the enemies have to defend there and prevent you from getting those points until your tickets run out. That's Breakthrough in a nutshell. You can play it in multiplayer. You can also play it with co-op with friends against AI soldiers. The AI is pretty brain dead. Pretty good for farming weapon stuff though, if you want to unlock stuff. And this brings us almost to the next topic, but let's just complete this here. Hazard Zone. It reminds me a bit of Hunt Showdown and maybe Escape from Tarkov to some degree, but more Hunt Showdown, I would say. And if you have friends to play it with, it's a pretty fun mode in my opinion. But if not, probably it's not the greatest mode. I have to admit, I enjoy it a lot because it is more infantry play and there are only jeeps, which are quite strong here. But you can get drops and so on and basically get a jeep or find some and on the map. And that's pretty decent to play. You have to find certain data pads or I have no idea what they were called in game. But yeah, some things you have to find on the map and then you have to escape. There are 2 escapes parts at the end of a match. Maybe we can make the tutorial video. And he will explain what's going on here. Talk a bit over him, which might be annoying, but... Data drive, that's the word. Exactly. You find them, you have to find those. There are several squads and also AI on the map. If you die, you can be redeployed. If your squad gets wiped out, you are out. At the end, there comes a ship that evacuates you. There are 2 actually. So there's one early one and one late one. You get more points if you take the late one, I assume. And the more data drives you get out, you get more points in the end, and you get you have to buy your equipment. And you get it refunded. There are also perks. If you're on a streak, you get more perks and so on and get a little benefit. If you die, it's reset to 0 and you don't get a refund. Though there's a perk that gives you at least 50% refund of what you spent. So in that regard, it's pretty similar to those games. I have to say I like the mode quite a bit. It's really fun. And Portal mode, which is like you can play classic Battlefield 42, Bad Company Rush, or Conquest Battlefield 3. Works pretty well. There's also some custom games like, let me see if I find it. No. But there is, for example, a gun game server, which is pretty fun. A bit random, but maybe to learn a bit the weapons a bit, it's quite interesting and so on. So there's a lot of interesting stuff you can do. There's also this zombie mode and so on. And yeah, it's a lot of content can be created here in Portal mode, which is quite interesting in my opinion. I hope they expand it further. To desktop? No, that's not what I want to do. Let's talk about my first point of criticism. I just mentioned the unlocks, and I think I'm not the hugest fan of unlocks in this game. This also shows, this is one of the big criticisms, we'll come to this in a moment, the specialists. But let's talk about unlocks. There are the classic vehicle unlocks. And Battlefield has, in my opinion, always had, I don't know why, the very annoying idea in it that I have unlocked pretty much everything for the tank. If you start, you don't, for example, you have to unlock the repair system, which in my opinion is very stupid. I can understand the other stuff, which seems somewhat specific, situational. in a way, and the other stuff works too. It doesn't feel like you have too much of a disadvantage with it. But the repair system, in my opinion, should not be an unlock for any vehicle. It is a flat-out disadvantage not having it. And of course, that is my point, you have to unlock it for both tanks. So for the S side and for the Russian side, you have a tank each, you have an attack helicopter each, and you have it's called a gunship each. And you have to unlock those. I don't know why that is. I really don't know. I think it's you just found that you have to also unlock certain vehicles, like the MAV, and this one, the M5C Bolt, or whatever it's pronounced. You have to unlock this too. The Bolt is quite interesting and fun to play. It can be quite powerful. This one you rarely see, in my opinion. It's very tanky though. Pretty impressively tanky. But it's basically it for it. I don't know why you have to unlock it with leveling up. Especially when with Battlefield 2042 you have this early access thing that is tied to the EA Pro Pass or whatever it's called. If you have that, you could play the game a week, I think, earlier, or 5 days earlier. I'm not sure about the date. I think the game came out at the 19th of November, and you could play already at the 12th or 13th of November. Pretty sure about this. And as a result, when you can play this early and have to unlock stuff, then the people who play it early have a clear advantage. Not only get they the experience playing the game, learning the maps, knowing the weapons, know what weapons are good and bad, and have to figure out everything, they also have these unlocks on top of that. And this is, in my opinion, a bit much. I could understand if these were all equal, but not having the repair system here is just, in my opinion, flat out terrible. Let me explain the repair system. So what it does is, if your tank gets damaged and you are out of combat for some time, it will regenerate automatically until it's completely repaired. You can also use a repair tool to repair it. That works too. This basically, if you press the button, it's G standard on the keyboard. This is a PC review, maybe should have mentioned at the beginning. And if you press it, you heal a little bit of this. You heal a little bit, but what it also does is, for example, if your chains get hit, you can't really move that well anymore with a tank. If you press it, they're instantly repaired. So you basically, all the disabled parts mechanic is completely circumvented by this ability. And this is pretty strong. And you have not unlocked it at the beginning. You unlock it pretty fast. I'm not sure if I have a vehicle. Yeah, here. You have, okay. You need 80 kills with this to unlock it for the MAV, which is quite a bit. I think I have it for all the other vehicles unlocked. Let me see if there's a vehicle. Oh, there, maybe here. It's 10. Yeah, I think for most vehicles it's 10 kills, which is not that much. You get it pretty fast, but still you start at a disadvantage. Maybe against players who already played the game for quite some time already. And I think that is very unnecessary. That was, in my opinion, always a problem in the Battlefield series. This was a thing. And I'm not the hugest fan of that, to be quite honest here. Especially some of this stuff, like if we go to this here, for example, this thing here, the 60mm mortar pod. So there are multiple, that's a driver's seat, that's the main weapon on top here, and then you have a weapon pod. I think it's this thing here. And then there's the commander seat, who you can't unlock anything here. It's only the sensor array and the detection pods. You have it unlocked from the start. But for example, the grenades are not that great. Canister weapon pod is good for defending if somebody is close. It's pretty decent. It's basically a shotgun for the tank. The rocket pod is not bad too. It gives you additional firepower. I think the kinetic grenade is absolutely trash. And it's fun though, kind of a way, because you shoot basically a ball and it bounces on the ground a little bit, but it does very little damage, it feels. It's hard to hit. The mortar is basically a little, I don't know, it's a huge explosion, has a very, very big radius, and it damages tanks quite well too. So in that regard, I'm not sure how much damage it does exactly, but from my experience, you can definitely blow up tanks with it. And this is flat out better than this here, in my opinion. So it's unfair if you have that one against this one. But same The heavy machine gun is not bad too. Minigun is probably better. UV missile, if you want to go into tank fights only, also pretty strong. But some of those unlocks, maybe I can show it to you with stuff I haven't unlocked, like the little bird. I have unlocked also a lot with the little bird, maybe with a jet. Like this here, you see 30 kills, 20 kills, 60 kills. Some of the stuff take literally several hundred kills to unlock. And that is quite a lot. And then you have to do it for both tanks. So we have to play the Russian tanks a lot and the US tank and the Russian tank a lot. Which in my opinion is just not that great. I would say the heavy machine gun is also the pilot machine gun from the guy who drives the tank driver who drives the tank. It's also flat out better than the light machine gun, but I guess the other one works too. It's not that you can't do anything with it. The heat shell is really strange in this game. I think it's not that great. And the standard, at least this part, is decently balanced, but like I said, not having the repair system is already in of itself a disadvantage. Like, if the other player is good and is equally good as you, and you engage at the same time at each other and hit the shots, the guy with repair system wins against you most likely. So that is, in my opinion, not that great, considering that also if you start the game fresh and have not played it that much, you have to play against all the players that already have the experience. So because it's a competitive game, there's at least some amount of skill involved in this, which gets better with playing the game, of course, and getting knowledge of the game. And then we also have the unlocks on top. And this is just very, very tedious process. But it's not only this here. You also have, maybe here I can show it to you a little bit better. Like this thing here. Let me get another weapon, like this one here. I've not unlocked anything for it. Yeah, you see, first thing needs, it's a 2x optic thing, or a 2x sight, and it takes 5 kills. Okay, no problem. 15, 30, 60, and here we're already in the 150. This is a normal red holo red dot thing. It takes 180 kills with this weapon. Like, okay, it takes quite some time. I wouldn't say this is an advantage, but some of the stuff here also has stats, for example. I'm not sure if this weapon, yeah, this for example. Now you see accuracy gets a bit better with some of the stuff. You can unlock grenade launchers for some weapons and bipods and so on. There is definitely some advantage, and unlocking this is 300 kills with this weapon. It takes quite some time to do this if you're an average player like me, and that is, in my opinion, not ideal. There's also different ammunition, for example, that is subsonic. Then this is the standard issue, which for whatever reason you don't have this. I don't fully get it, to be honest. Then you have high power, etc. There's some weapons also have like this thing here. I can't show it because I'm not level 60 yet. So unlocking some of those weapons takes quite some time. And yeah, it's a very tedious process to do. You can basically select, maybe you have seen it here, maybe I show a weapon that I've unlocked some stuff with. This one here, the PP29, it's currently a very strong weapon in this game. It's totally broken in my opinion. Everyone plays it, you will see it a lot. I play it too because I got sick of getting killed by it and tried it out and thought, okay, it's just a superior weapon compared to all others. And yeah, here you see you can select 3 of those things, and in-game you can switch between those, which is neat. Doesn't have underbarrel here. This stuff also, there's some stuff you can unlock here. Munition and so on. You have a lot of options that you have, which is pretty neat, and you can also, which I like, switch between stuff here when you unlock it. I've played with this weapon quite a bit. A bit is an overstatement, I guess, because I'm usually drive around in tanks or whatever, but it takes quite some time to unlock those things. In my opinion, that's, as said, not ideal. I would prefer if you level up your character, you get unlock points, and then just can you spend those points on unlocking whatever you want, or see fit. Maybe start with 5 unlock points at the beginning, so you have at least a decent selection of stuff you can try out at the beginning, and then with each level you get another unlock point, and you can use it on everything. Those weapons here don't need kills, they need levels. That is also a requirement. Same with some vehicles you have to unlock. Same with specialists. The wall hack specialist, her here, needs level 25, and the grappling hook guy needs level 15, I think. You get it relatively fast, but still, I think it's an unnecessary requirement to unlock stuff like this. I find it personally really annoying, and it's a huge disadvantage if you start with this stuff already. The specialist, as mentioned, is also quite controversial. My biggest worry is that you see her a lot, but at the beginning not many people were 25, so you did not see her a lot at all. And I think so far it kind of works. I feared the clone armies, but some of those are pretty decent. Like, she's pretty good, you see her quite often because she has a grenade that's quite powerful. Then has an anti-armor grenade and basically a cluster grenade, I want to call it. The anti-armor grenade basically is a smart grenade that flies. You can lock on and it hits a vehicle. This guy has like a ballistic shield, which is also quite powerful, especially in squad play. This can be pretty strong. And he has also a shield bash. It's kind of funny. Grappling hook, more mobility, and he shoots better. So you see, I think he's very popular still. You see him a lot. In Hazard Zone, I found that this guy, Irish, is also pretty decent because he can put a fortification system. So it's basically a little shield, and you can have now cover and can sit behind it, and no bullets can hit you, which is pretty awesome in some firefight situations, I think. So it's pretty decent. This guy, also not that bad, though. I think it's not often played. I have a friend who plays him a lot. And he can place a Sentry Turret that automatically shoots at people. It takes some time for the turret to lock in, so there's a lot of time to get into cover and so on. But it also spotters enemies to some degree and so on. You see when something is going around. There's, especially in Hazard Zone, I think it's not that bad. This guy, yeah, I don't know. He will get a buff already. I think on paper, it's basically the same argument I made in the video about the specialists. On paper, he's pretty good because the drone is powerful. You can fly around and look down on the map, and it spots all the enemies. It also has an EMP burst, which is really annoying. You can deactivate vehicles with it and so on, so they can't shoot anymore. Activation, I know, it's a few seconds, so it's really not bad. The problem is, when you use a drone, you can't control the character, only the drone. So you stop playing the game if you use the drone, and that is a bit boring, and that is why you need like a dedicated person who's maybe eating currently, who is hiding in a dark corner, flying around, spotting enemies in the meantime or something. I don't know. Otherwise, I think it's not that much fun. This guy turns out to be pretty strong, but has some problems, I guess. He can hack other players and vehicles, but if he loses line of sight for a moment, it starts. It takes like 5 seconds to hack a tank or so, but the hack also is on for like 7 seconds, or I don't know, 5, 7, maybe 10 seconds. It seems like forever. Very annoying. The hacked vehicles can still move, but not shoot anymore. We had a bug, maybe it was a bug, but I think one time we couldn't repair a hacked vehicle. But maybe that was a bug, because I felt like, okay, I could repair a vehicle when it was hacked too, but I don't know, it felt a bit inconsistent in this regard. Would be pretty strong though. As said, she has a wall hack ability. It's pretty decent, to be honest, but it has a lot. Like, originally I thought if you deactivate it, there's a little battery symbol, and you can deactivate it manually, and as long as you have battery, you can just turn it on again instantly. But as soon as you turn it off, it gets a cooldown again. The cooldown is pretty long on it, relatively long. It's definitely good, don't get me wrong, but it's, so far, I have to admit, it works kind of. Especially, I'm mostly playing tanks, so I'm not, it's not the biggest problem for me anyway, but I think you don't see her that often on the map, to be honest. It's from time to time, true, and it definitely helps, but it's not as strong as I thought it would be, though it's still strong. The classic healer, I think you see him much more often than her, but he's also kind of decent. You get a little buff with her pistol. That's basically like Anna from Overwatch, a healing dart that she can shoot, and then you heal. You only have to hit once, and then you heal full. It's not instant health, but health regeneration over time. And if you get revived by her, you start with full health, which is also pretty strong, in my opinion. However, I think this guy here is pretty decent, to be honest. Because, first of all, you can give everyone armor in the game. So he gets basically plus 20 HP. So it's 20, just a bonus of 20% HP for everyone. If he revives, you get revived. He can also revive everyone. Others can only revive squad mates. He can revive everyone, but only with half HP. But he revives them with armor. So it's 70 HP when you revive instead of 100. And he can't heal. That is a little disadvantage for when it comes to this guy. But I feel like coming into a firefight and just having more HP than your opponent is already a huge advantage. And there's also, if we go to gear, there's also this one, the armor plate. And it's basically, then you have it. It's probably, here it says 25. Maybe it's a bit stronger. His plates are only 20. But in my opinion, that is still pretty strong, not gonna lie here. It's definitely not bad. And then he has this, can use with the right, if he equips on 3, he right clicks, he can call on a drop, a resupply ammo drop thing. So a little crate drops then on the field where you ever placed it. And there in conquest mode, you can also, I assume, in the other modes too, except for, yeah, Conquest works, also Breakthrough works. In some Portal modes, of course, too. Only where it is different is in Hazard Zone. However, if you open it, you can then select loadouts and basically switch. For example, if you are in a situation where you had to repair tool, a tank gets destroyed, you can call it, and then switch to anti-tank if you have like a loadout equipped for it, which is, in my opinion, pretty powerful. That is neat. The problem is, of course, everyone sees where the crate drops, and I would say that is still pretty useful, though, especially in Conquest and so on, because it doesn't, you're not hiding. In Hazard Zone, it's a consideration if you really want to call it. In the other modes, far less. So, in my opinion, it's good, and you, of course, get new ammunition, new gadgets, new sensory tools, everything you get max again. While if you use a normal ammo crate, it can take some time standing next to the ammo crate until you have full ammunition and full all your gadgets again, all the rocket launcher ammunition, etc. It takes a moment to get resupplied there. Here you have to hold E and it's instantly. So in my opinion, he's pretty strong, play him quite a lot, to be honest. And that's another thing, if you throw one of those armor plates to an ally, you also have a little bit of ammunition for the primary and I assume secondary. I mean, I have not tried the secondary stuff though. I assume though, just ammunition. So you not only give armor, you also give a bit of ammunition. This makes him, so he can revive everyone, he can give armor to everyone, he gives you also ammunition. And he doesn't need to select a slot here. So he has space for a lot of other things that he can carry around. Like he doesn't need the armor box. Of course, maybe you can take the healing box with him and just get additional heal, which might be quite powerful. But yeah, I don't know. It's, in my opinion, pretty strong. I also think the sensory grenade is pretty strong. Same as in the beta already, so I usually go with it. Making kills with a normal grenade, it happens, but I feel like the other nade, knowing where your enemy is getting the information is just much, much stronger than having a grenade that is quite situational, in my opinion. Not bad, but you can decide yourself. So let us jump into a game, I would say. And let me just double check if I forgot something else. Also this little robot, the Ranger. You can't upgrade it, sadly. There's nothing you can change the gun. So it would be pretty cool if we could make something different with him. But I guess it kind of works. But this is really, in my opinion, a big problem. A lot of people complain about the specialists, but I have to say I don't care too much. I don't know why people complain so much about them. Maybe the balance is off for some. Maybe some are a bit too strong, more useful than others. Yeah, I can see this, but there are definitely some that are far more popular compared to others. But yeah, we will see it in a moment. Let's just jump into a normal conquest game, and then I can show you what is going on there and comment a little bit, give you my impressions. In the meantime, we could show you options. There are a lot of graphical options, sound options, accessibility options are pretty awesome, like colorblind mode and so on. You can deactivate. I also did it, the camera shake and so on. There is a lot of stuff in the options that you can do. Sadly, one thing that I find personally a bit annoying is the fact that you don't have... I can't go into the options menu from here. That you don't have two options for the same action for binding it onto the keyboard. There's only one primary, there's not a secondary key binding option, which is, in my opinion, very useful if you fly some vehicles to maybe put something on a different key.
The Russians have been drilling Antarctic oil for a decade. Today, we cut the supply. You will work with other task forces to bring the facility.
So we tried to get the tank. I did not get it, I think. No. That's where I got it.
Transport is waiting.
Sold is right. Oh, we can have a look now at the beginning of the people who spawned. Oh, we should. Can we go and get into a helicopter? Yeah, we get into one. Because we have seen this map is very bad for it's very bad for the United States. You have to like walk quite a bit to get anywhere with it. Well, Houston, we have a problem. I assume our PlayStation pilot is still loading. Activated crossplay too. You can deactivate it in the options too. Maybe it's a good moment to check the options really quick. Yeah, see here, you only have one keyboard binding. In some other battlefields you had two for it, and could, for example, if you are pilot or something, yeah, you could pitch up or something, put on a second key, which in my opinion is not bad. So here we're going to the thing. You see the other points are relatively far away. Just imagine you are spawn here and have to walk there. It's just, it's like a 5-minute walk or something. And a tank comes out of nowhere and you die and you have to walk again. It's just... This map is really big. Russian base, though, is... here. There's a Russian base. So they have a much faster or shorter way to the other points. This point here, I feel like rarely gets captured a lot, but yeah, we will see in a moment. There's a minigun. It behaves a bit different compared to vehicle miniguns. It's much more precise, I think. If you put it on a tank, it's not as precise, but you see how well I'm able to... Oh, there's even an enemy vehicle. I think we have to get out. And this is the plate. You see, now I have 20. There will be in the next patch a change that you can hold the 3 button where this is on, and then you give yourself armor instead of laying it on the ground. I can also show you calling it. This is basically how it looks. We just wait here for a moment. It seems not much is going on here. And there's the box. It always has this weird glitch that it despawns for a moment and then appears again. Didn't look at the mini-map there, was too busy talking about it. Very unfortunate thing, though. I think we won't get revived here. It's really unfortunate. course, you always spawn at the bottom. I don't know why that is. Like, I often feel like, why do I spawn here? Can I just spawn? Can we throw this? Okay, I made it. Awesome. Thought, huh? This is an enemy vehicle? Why is nobody shooting at it? Well, we lost this then, and yeah, awesome. We can get a vehicle. I can show you the hovercraft, maybe. Kind of broken. It will also get nerfed next patch. You right click on it, you can also change weapons and so on. We want to have the minigun, I think. No, I can't get it anymore. Well, that's unfortunate. So maybe let's spawn it. See, I can show you the thing here really quick. See, it comes. It now vanishes for a short moment. And you hold E, and now you see you have your loadout. It's a really weird menu. It will also, you get a scroll for it later on. And then you can say what you want to have and switch it, which is pretty decent. On B you can also call tanks, some other vehicles. Why don't I use it anymore? Because I'm attacked. And we could, for example, call for hovercraft, which we also will do, and hope I don't get shot. And you see, there the hovercraft comes. Some people don't like this system, but I personally think it's decent. Because you see the hovercraft is coming, it takes some time till it's on the ground. You could maybe even hit it in the air. Dude, I can't revive him though. Oh, there's a tank behind us. I didn't know that there's a tank behind us. Like, it's always the same. If you want to show something and demonstrate, and enemies just coming to you and be pretty annoying. Probably have to redeploy. Maybe we can do something. Probably it's gone already. No, it's not gone already. He's driving it. Yes. We go into it, and now we have the fancy minigun. Let's see where this guy's going to. This is probably not working. And yeah, it's pretty strong. This is the other tank, the level 50 something tank. We don't have a scoreboard, so we don't know who has relatively levels here. As a tank helicopter, I hope he doesn't find us. Really hard to get rid of those without player stuff. You see, you can make some kills pretty strong. We ate a rocket. If we have repair systems. Down too fast. Yeah, for infantry players, this thing is pretty nightmarish. But now we ate like 2 hits. And just died. So, yeah, wasn't too great, but you see you can definitely make some kills with it with very little effort. Just a few clicks, and this is pretty strong and hard to kill. It eats like 2 or 3 rockets. I think there was 2 rocket shot at once at us. So that definitely managed to kill us quite decently. Let me see if I can show. So this was this guy. Maybe I can show you somebody else. Probably not a bad idea. For example, let's try the wingsuit. Maybe we can find a way and fly a little bit around. Nope, not enough height. It basically works, if I understood it correctly. Don't play her often. it works like the parachute. So you need like a certain amount of height to activate it, and then you can control it a bit. The controls are a bit weird, so I probably have to get used a bit. Maybe this here works. Oh. The jump. Maybe I should just jump down the cliff. For real. Why did I slide off there? Okay, in a moment I get shot, by the way. Yeah, see. I mistimed it though. I think you're not allowed to hold W or something, or else you go into this dive state. It's a bit weird to control. He also has these nades, and by pressing it you have like this grenade. I think it's an EMP. Oh, it has EMP shocks. I didn't know that. This is like, I think, a cluster grenade. I think I threw it too far. Whatever. Oh, I have no idea how to... I need to learn how to control this. But this should give us at least some opportunity. Oh, okay. Probably with... range. I don't fully know how to get into the fly up state. It's unfortunate, but yeah, you can definitely control it to some degree. But I have not figured fully. I never played this class. Just demonstration sakes, switched to it. I thought it would be the direction. I'm not sure if you have to hold... Maybe I don't have to hold a key for it. I'm not sure, chat. Sorry, that is just my Twitch thing there. Yeah, however, you see... let me check the other grenade. Maybe we find a vehicle. That's the Buster grenade, I think. This is the anti-armor grenade, if I'm not mistaken. We can try it out. It locks into an armored vehicle, and yeah, it doesn't do much damage though. So to kill a tank with it, I would assume you need like something between 10 and 6 grenades or so. As you see now, this map it's pretty cool. You have this ice stuff here. But yeah, it's a very big map, and without a vehicle, it can be quite frustrating. There's a tank. And now we're in the tank. Gunner here. You can maybe... We have all... The tank is full. Didn't expect that. Wow, how did he do that? It was a nice flip by the tank, but probably the worst timing for a flip he could have done. Flipping tanks is pretty hard. Don't fully see it. Here we don't have any unlocks, so we don't have the minigun or something unlocked. This is just the normal machine gun. It's pretty decent though, not gonna lie. I wouldn't say the minigun is 1000% better, maybe a little bit, but still decent. And this, oh, that is an interesting thing. Sadly, there's no death cam. What this guy did, he just C4 droned us. So you can fly with a drone, get into your character view back, and then place C4 on drones. And then you can fly into a tank and destroy it, which is funny, but it's sadly very hard to count because those drones are very difficult to hit. And it's also a bit frustrating, not gonna lie. So maybe I really would like to try out the flying stuff again. So we spawn here and can fly around here. Yeah, there's this thing. Decent. Was too many enemies on this side. I would love to spawn on this thing, not outside. As you can see, the spawn system in this game is just terrible in my opinion. It's one of the most terrible things I've seen. Why do I spawn here? Like, getting up there is like, I don't know. If so many things have to go right to survive even getting there. That's a bit too frustrating in my opinion. Oh, okay, now it works. Sometimes the prompts are a bit oversensitive, I would say. We can just throw one of those things and we see our enemies. It's decent. Somebody must be here. Okay, that's an... No, I'm not medic. I have to get used to this.
Enemy forces at half strength.
Looks like I can't go inside this thing here. I don't know why that... Oh, that's a friend.
Sector Bravo is ours. New objective under control. Both sectors are now under...
Where did this guy come from? Oh, he's on top of the crane. Okay, now I see him. You see PP-29. It's the standard weapon in this game. You see it quite a lot. You see very little ammunition boxes here. I don't know why. It feels like... That's, I assume, one of the criticisms when it comes to the specialist system, because the stuff you need, you rarely see. I also don't know what gadgets my my squad mates have, which is a huge oversight. And also, I think I forgot finishing the point that I wanted to make a moment ago. Yeah, there is... Is this an ammo box? Yeah, there are ammo boxes over somewhere here. So there are some people here too. Careful. That you don't get assists for vehicle kills, which in my opinion is just very stupid. I don't know why that is.
If we don't stop them, they'll take every sector.
Question is the ammunition box down or is it up here? Really hard to say. Maybe it's on top of this here. How do we get there? Yeah, but you don't get vehicle assists. So if I make like 99% of the damage to a vehicle and somebody shoots a rocket and finishes off with the last HP it had, I don't get any assist for it. And that is, in my opinion, very unfortunate and was already solved in previous games. As a result, it's much more efficient to farm infantry with tanks and so on instead of destroying them, because it takes far too long. Like, killing an infantry is just often one hit, one shot, and they're gone. You get your reward for it in form of a score for a score kill. But other than this, what is the incentive for doing it differently? Like, that is, in my opinion, a huge oversight, and I hope they fix it, that you at least get something, or like a partial thing. I also think that vehicle kills should get higher priority, or should get more kills. Let's try the flying again. I don't know how to get my nose up there. Okay, we managed to kill him. Vehicle combat is quite annoying. You can shoot them out though. I got one hit on the driver, so He died pretty fast. It's a pretty standard battlefield nonsense that's happening here. Maybe could help this guy. Sure, he should have switched classes though. See what is going on here. Can go into the spotter position and spot. Now we know where the enemies are. Pretty strong. Good. And here we get all the assists in the... If the driver kills somebody or I kill somebody, doesn't matter too much.
Friendly forces are securing Delta 1.
We can kill this guy. Got him. Was not well shot. But yeah, we could now... We can't switch classes here, only our equipment. I think it's still half decent. Second one. And yeah, that's basically how this game works. I'm a bit sorry that I have not figured out how to control the wingsuit yet. Would love to fly a bit around. You can definitely fly up a bit and gain some height again. There was a dude. I'm not fully recovered yet. Oh, he's dead already. Strange. Okay, so I think we got the thing here. And avoided the death loop of death. Also did not use the grenade. Maybe I should have used, but there was no time for it. You can also lock on to... Let me see. This is the anti-thing. I'm not sure if it locks on manually or if it just throw it. Run with my gun. Question is, where do we go next? We could go back to B, but it's so far away. Like, this map isn't ideal for infantry. There are better maps than this. I still like it. It's a good vehicle map to some degree, except for if you play United States, you have to... If you spawn your tank there in the base, you just drive forever. That's our thing. Yeah, and this is what I mean. I'm dead. Like, there's a sniper up there, can just easily kill me with this SWS-10, and I'm gone, can't do anything against it. So yeah, welcome to the beautiful world of Battlefield. That is the same, though these problems were also existed in previous games. Some people say the maps are a bit too big. I would tend to agree with certain maps, but not all of them. Like, you have like huge spots like this here, and this here, and this part here. Nothing really happens here. I guess a lot of the most stuff happens here in this area. And even here there's a huge gap where not much is going on at all. Maybe we can spawn here and try the... All seats are occupied. Somebody, I assume, will jump off and try to capture the tank. Ah, okay, I found it out. You have to brake. And then you can... can't use the... Now, okay, now I understand. You have to hold S to slow down a bit. And then, yeah, okay. We can't fly indefinitely. Or we can switch to this grenade here. Would be awesome. And maybe lock in the enemy tank. Probably will kill us though. But just for completeness sake, I try my best. Okay, it locks in automatically, as we have seen. The smoke screen prevents the grenade from doing its stuff. So in this case, it would have been better for me to spawn with C4. then just drop on the then just drop at the tank and maybe blow it up. Would be pretty awesome, but no C4 with me. Here it might be useful to go with a rocket launcher because we see a tank on the map. Oh boy, that's... I won't hit. Here we go. Got him. This weapon is just ridiculously precise. It was pretty bad shooting, but I didn't see him from the particle effects. My excuse here. And yeah, what can I say? It's just... That's a tank though. When it comes to the technique, so far it runs. Sometimes you get like a crash, rare. I think last stream I got a crash while loading to the first game. Could have been to do with my me streaming it or so, because it always adds some stuff. I'm not sure who's shooting at me. Okay, there is a wildcat. You can modify this. It's usually at the beginning and basically an anti-air vehicle, but you can also make like the classic LAV. I think it was called, like in Battlefield 3 and 4 and so on, like the troop transporter with a really good gun on top. You can unlock this. As said, unlocking takes some time. Let's check some more classes which might be interesting. Maybe the grappling hook guy could be fun. This map he's probably not that ideal, so maybe yeah, maybe we can check out the hacking woman, the wall hack woman as I call her. See, now I've activated it and nobody is in my range. So now I see the okay, why don't I see the... Fortunate there's so many anti-air things. For whatever reason I didn't see the cooldown. I would say, yeah, now you see how long the cooldown takes, but the UI was bugged. And as said, there are a lot of things missing in the UI. And a lot of there was stuff that was already solved. Boy, it's terrible spawning here. Not too many enemies here. Not really sure where to spawn. Like, this is probably a bad idea. Maybe I have to spawn at C1 and walk or something and just flank them and go with a tank. Oh, it's pretty close, by the way. Maybe I shouldn't die that often. Well, round is almost over. He also, if somebody shoots at me, he also gets spotted. So it's a passive ability. So far looking good. Maybe our tank does some work. Nobody here, it seems. There's a freaking little bird. There's it. Did we win? We win. Okay, nice. I did something. Well, it was a pretty close match. Rarely have seen it this close. Like usually it's like 100 or 300 points away. But yeah, this is a Battlefield. Wingsuit woman, medic. Another wingsuit. You see the wingsuit a lot. She's quite popular because I think people really like flying around, and it's just fun, and it works kind of well. Figured out how it works. And then you get a lot of points after the round, or not. And this is really a lot of points. You level up relatively fast too in this game. I have to admit this too. But I feel like maybe just give the people all the options from the start would be better, or give them unlock points and so they can unlock vehicles and vehicle equipment, and especially sights and whatnot. They would be much appreciated. See if we find like another map. I think maybe I should end it here. So what is my overall conclusion of the game? Definitely say the game, as weird as it sounds, from a technical standpoint, it's definitely not a great release. Not at all. But compared to what the open beta showed, this is still somewhat decent, I have to admit. From a technical standpoint, as you have seen, there's one bug, for example, where you can't be revived and you can't redeploy. And then you have basically to quit the game and start. Maybe there's some other fix for it, I don't know. But it's pretty annoying. It's rare, but it happens every, let's say, few hours you play. And stuff like this should not be in a release of a big AAA title. I definitely think too that they should probably have delayed it a bit further still and take some time. A lot of issues that will be fixed probably when the next patch that comes out, I think at the weekend or something, will fix a lot of problems. So maybe wait the next patch. Definitely wait for the next patch. However, compared, and I play Battlefield since 1942, not the date, but Battlefield 1942, which came out, I don't know, 2000, 2001, 2000 something. Yeah, 2001, I think. Should have looked it up. Maybe I'm wrong. So for a very long time. And this release, excuse me, this release has definitely the problem that, or it's not the problem that it's among the worst Battlefield releases ever. This game is, for a Battlefield release, pretty solid in my opinion. However, there are of course higher standards when other games release. If you compare this to a game like God of War or Uncharted or whatever, there might be also bugs in those games, but it usually feels a lot more polished and works better. Here you have sometimes you have some weird animation bugs, sometimes you have, like I said, you can't be revived and you can't redeploy bug. That is pretty annoying. Sometimes the hitboxes are still a bit strange. It's much better compared to the beta. So I'm really actually positively surprised that the servers, for the most part, on a relatively decent computer work the game runs pretty well. It works. There's occasional crashes, which is not okay, but acceptable. I can't talk about the console versions, I have not played those, but at least on PC, if you have like a decent up-to-date machine, most of the stuff works quite a bit. A lot of bugs are fixed. There was one bug in the beta where when you are in a vehicle and then you had like a weird UI glitch, not UI glitch, but there was like a border of your vision where you look through, mirroring like looking through a device, and if you moved the turret of the tank a bit, it would glitch. This border would glitch into the screen a bit. That looked really weird and took away your stuff. Sometimes if you zoom in, the screen is a bit black. It's especially in Bad Company tanks if you play the portal mode. Stuff like this was also in the beta, and I have seen it to some degree here too, but very little. They also overworked the UI a little bit, and I think it got much better compared to the beta. It's much more clear who is friend and who is foe through this. The clone factor is definitely there, but it's not as high as I feared it would be, even though there are a lot of people on the map. Some maps are just, as you have seen with this map, are so drawn out that you don't see it. And if you, like me, drive a lot of vehicles, then you don't care too much about it anyway, I guess, because you just see a dot and shoot there and it dies, I guess. But there are also skins for it, which amplifies this a bit. Maybe I can show this. For example, you saw her here in the final screen. You see, basically, she has multiple uniforms and headgear and whatnot. And like look like this, and then this bit of individualization you can get here definitely helps a bit. Yeah, but you see, she can look like this, she can look like this. You still recognize her, but there's some cool stuff that you can equip with all the characters. This besides the standard look, and this reduces the clone factor a little bit, in my opinion. And you have to really rely on the UI differentiating enemy. Oh, it's not untypical for Battlefield, but it still is half decent in my opinion. It works out. I have to admit, I imagined this to be much, much worse on release than it actually is. So, to return to the technical side of things, I think Battlefield 4, for example, did a far worse job with the release. For example, you had a map like the Shanghai map where there was a building. When it crashed also all the clients, and the server was empty after that. And so the map was removed out of the map cycle. And it took them several weeks to fix this bug. And it was not just some clients, it was like 90 or 95% of people just their game crashed. And it was just so annoying to see something like this. I remember in other Battlefields, for example, I think it was in Battlefield 3 where it did this weird sound bug and suddenly your gun when you fired made no sound. Or was it in Battlefield 4 too? Battlefield 4 was a pretty bad release. And this game still is among the better releases as a result. And I have to admit that I'm a bit surprised. But on the other side, of course, it's good that people call out companies when they release games too early and say, yeah, we fix it in a few patches. That's, in my opinion, not a great attitude towards your game. In my opinion, the game should be in an absolutely fantastic state when it comes out and when people put their, I don't know, 60, 70 euros, dollars, whatever, on the counter and say, yeah, I want to play this game. Then it should be good because people bought it and it's a product and it should have certain standards. As you saw here in this map that we just played, it ran pretty solid. Frame-wise, I can't complain too much. It runs on 1080p, 60 FPS. I think I limit I get constant 60 FPS. I even get like 70, 80 FPS, sometimes 90, something like this. I have a 1070. I only play on medium settings though, because a 1070 of course is a bit old, and I simply can't buy a new graphics card. It's just not a reasonable thing considering that they are like more than twice as expensive as they should be. And especially getting one is also quite difficult. However, with this it still runs well. I can't, as said, not talk about how the console versions run, but on my PC it runs decent. I can even record stuff without any issue, and quite happy with this. It's quite, I heard, CPU heavy, though I have a pretty good CPU in my computer, so it seems to be not an issue for me. But I heard that some people definitely had issues with the CPU bottlenecking the game. Will be addressed in upcoming patches too, I think, and some engine optimizations will roll out. But still, I think the game overall is among the better Battlefield release. Also, Battlefield 2 was just a very, very buggy release, and this game runs too. Also, Battlefield 3 at the release had animation issues. Remember the long necks and weird animation glitches that were all over the place. As said, I think there was also a sound bug in Battlefield 3. It wasn't ideal. It took some time to really bring that game up to a standard where people say, yeah, that is good. And of course, then people played the game and enjoyed it a lot, and so people remember it as being a great Battlefield game. But to be honest, DICE does this all the time, and I have to admit, this release compared to the other ones, I think Battlefield 5 was also, and 1 were also somewhat decent releases. I think this also works for the most part. There are just a few bugs that are really annoying. The weapon balance, as said, you see this weapon, the PP29, a lot, because it's just the superior weapon in this game, which is very unfortunate, but it's just like a balance thing that will have the hovercraft we have seen. It's so mobile and fast. It's it takes so many hits to kill, and the mobility also makes it hard to hit for tanks and so on. As a result, it's a pretty annoying vehicle on the map, and considering how much it tanks, it's just a nightmare for encountering one of those things for infantry only players. or people who just simply did not get the vehicle and have to run around on the map without one. And yeah, then it's a pretty annoying thing to have. You can also put like a rocket launcher on top of it, which is it's not that good, I think, but it's decent to definitely scare some other vehicles away and still escape. So there's that. And the side machine guns also are pretty decent. It's a pretty strong vehicle against infantry, and it will definitely get nerfed. So the balance is definitely off a bit. It's always not great if some weapons are stronger than others. And I think also, this is a sniper rifle that you can upgrade with like armor breaking ammunition. And there was like a video, if you hit a tank at a certain spot, it does almost as much damage as a rocket launcher, maybe more, I'm not sure. Maybe this was also in the beta, or no, it can't be in the beta. I think the weapon was not available there, but quite kind of interesting. If you have the upgrades for this weapon, then suddenly it's stronger than a rocket launcher that is designed to be anti-vehicle. That's, in my opinion, quite a stretch. So there's definitely a problem with that, in my opinion. Will also get nerfed, though, as far as I heard that this is not fully intended. However, I think that sums up my thing here, my review here, and I hope you found it somewhat useful and gave you a good overview over the game core mechanics. Like the video is already pretty long, and I still have to edit out a little bit of stuff, so we'll see how long it will be when you see it on the channel. But I think overall, I have a lot of fun with this Battlefield. I know some people hate it, and I can understand it because it does some stuff differently, and especially some stuff misses. Like the UI is definitely not great. Like, for example, if you want to change your equipment for Bad Company Rush in Portal mode, yeah, you would be in this menu and think, where can I change those Bad Company tanks? Why isn't there, like if I go to vehicles, why isn't there a Bad Company thing here telling me how to do this? And the answer is, you have to go to Portal mode and click on Collection here. Then select the game you want. Now here you can actually also switch around. Battlefield 3 vehicles, and here the Battlefield Bad Company 2 vehicles. And then you click on it, and then you can make your settings here for those tanks. So it is possible. And what is even more fun is that it doesn't, I think, let me double check. Oh, it looks like, yeah. Here it takes it from 2042. It takes the settings from the main thing that works. But also, if you want to go to weapons and go, for example, change this weapon, click on it. How does this work? This menu doesn't exist in Bad Company 2. So if you don't want to have an iron sight, but for example the hollow sight on this thing here, yeah, you see now edit position, right click, and then I have to click here and put it. And this one that is on the first spot, let's say this is second, this is third spot, this is then the weapon you equip. And if you now in Bad Company and select this machine gun as to start with, same with this here. If I want to have an under-barrel rocket launcher, I have to do this. And you can't change it. You have to go into this menu and basically switch the position here. This is, in my opinion, how to put it, unnecessary complicated. You have to figure this out. You can't believe it. Then there's if we play Hazard Zone, for example, maybe I can find a game really quick and show it to you. Maybe it doesn't matter too much. If you click on one of the buttons for the perks, you have to deactivate the perk you currently have equipped. Get the thing out, the check out of it, and then you can select another one. Like, why can't you just click on it and overwrite it and click on the next? It's, in my opinion, unnecessarily complicated. The UI is really not that great in this game, and some of the stuff and UI problems and information problems, and some of also like how to distribute points, like making vehicle kills and vehicle assists more viable or more interesting or more rewarding for players. That was already solved in other Battlefield games. Why is it not solved in this game? It's mind-boggling at times, and very, very, in my opinion, unfortunate that this is the case. I assume this will be addressed in patches. The good news is all this stuff can be addressed in patches, and that is a good thing. The bad thing, though, is it should have been in the game on release, and that is all I can say basically to you is maybe wait for a patch or two before you buy this. The current state, it's totally playable. You can have a lot of fun with it, but you can also get quite mad at the game and be disappointed in what is actually missing. I also think, though, that a lot of the hate, like this is not the worst release I have ever seen in my life. Like that is a totally overstatement. It's just not true. But still, I can see why people are maybe disappointed or dislike the game. And as said, it does a few things differently. If we also look at the maps, you have 7 new 2042 maps, and you have then 2 maps of Bad Company of Battlefield 1942, which are, let me see if we can find this really fast. So here we see Orbital, Discarded, Hourglass, Breakaway was a map we just played. What other maps do we have? Manifest, Renewal, that's an interesting one. Manifest is also okayish, I think. Renewal is a bit annoying. Carded I already said. Hourglass, I think that's it. Maybe I forgot one. Kaleidoscope, yeah, that's the last one we forgot. I don't like Kaleidoscope as Conquest map though. And then for Bad Company, it's a Battle of the Bulge and El Alamein. And for Battlefield 1942, and for Bad Company, it's Valparaiso and Arica Harbor. And for the other, it is, let me see, I just saw it a moment ago here. Nosha Canals and Caspian Border are the Battlefield 3 maps. So we have a total of, I think, 13 maps or something. 40 maps, I'm not sure. I think it's 13. That is a decent amount, though. If you just play normal Battlefield 2042, you just have 7 maps, which in my opinion is a little thin, to be honest. Especially with like game modes. A lot of game modes. You can play also some of the game modes on the other maps in Portal mode, though. It's not here on the All-Out Warfare thing. Let me see. Oh, I have an idea how we could have seen this. Here you see the maps. You see, this is where you can play a Breakthrough. You can't play Breakthrough on the other maps. Maybe you can activate it in Portal or not, but not standard game stuff. It's a bit unfortunate in my opinion. There should be more maps simply. It's as simple as that, but maybe they will bring us more content in future updates, which still would be a statement to maybe release it a bit later when you have more stuff ready for the game. So still, I think with Portal mode is like a very crucial factor to the game, which can be really quite fun. I played with some friends, Bad Company too, quite a bit, and we had like a very nostalgic trip because we really loved Bad Company 2. It's also one of my favorite Battlefields, and being able to play this again with your friends. I mean, the game still exists. It's not like that, but playing it again on a modern version of it, even though some stuff is different, some weapons feel a bit different. Some weapons also feel exactly the same, like if you are in the LAV, in the armored troop transporting vehicle. The side machine guns that were basically just like lasers with no bullet spread at all. It's the same in this. Feels pretty similar, to be honest. The tracer dart is there too. However, it doesn't really work as it worked before. It seems like they nerfed it quite a bit, and it doesn't feel as useful as it was before. So that is, in my opinion, quite unfortunate. Still, we had a very, very good time playing this, and I guess you could have a good time playing Battlefield 3 Conquest and 1942, even though the maps are really big and can take some time. But And then you can have also weird mixes of this with portal mode. You can create all kinds of things. There's even like a little logic thing where you can move certain elements, like programming elements together and do some settings. That is quite interesting. They can probably expand on this. So far, I think it's not possible to make I don't know, 10 vehicles versus 10 vehicles maps. I tried to do this already, but couldn't figure out how to do it. And turns out it's deactivated and maybe comes in one of the next patches. So, as said, it's unfortunate that not everything is there and spot on. It's a bit of a wonky release, typical for Battlefield Bad Company, but it's also, on the other side, a bit not so bad compared to like Battlefield 2 or Battlefield 4. I think I've seen worse releases. And as a result, I'm personally, as a Battlefield fan, not too sad about it, and I think it's a fun game and still has a lot of potential for people. I don't really get why people hate so much on it. I feel like I can understand that some people are disappointed. I can understand that some of the technical issues should not be in a full release AAA game, but on the other side, that was always true for the series. It's not an excuse, because it's, I think, good to call out a game, even though if it's in its core decent, it's good to call it out, like Cyberpunk 2077. Also, the reason why I didn't make a review for this game, because technically this game was just absolute disaster and should have been in development for one more year. Like, so far only bug fixes were released for Cyberpunk, and now the game is slowly approaching a state where you could say, yeah, this could be released as a AAA title, and people would still say, yeah, it's a little bit buggy, I would say. And that basically shows how buggy that game was on release. But this is nothing, like, Cyberpunk was a lot worse compared to Battlefield 2042. So I'm a bit surprised, but maybe people are after Cyberpunk a bit more easy to trigger with technical issues on release. And that's a good thing. And I think it's overall good to criticize them for this and maybe say, hey, maybe release your games when they are done. And that definitely is a true statement for this game. But still, I would say, if they manage to fix it, then wait a patch or two, and then you might have a good time with it if you just liked what you saw there. If not, it's probably not for you, I guess. But I would definitely keep an eye on this game and see how it will develop. And yeah, don't pre-order games. Buy the games when they're out, wait for reviews, and then, I don't know, vote with your wallet, basically. But as said, I think a lot of the criticism is a bit much, because as you saw in the game here, everything went relatively smooth, and that is my standard experience with the game. There are sometimes some annoying bugs, I give you that, but it's not as bad as previous Battlefield release, so they definitely improved here, and I would say that is quite surprising. I mean, if you go through Reddit or something, which is a terrible idea, I guess, in and of itself, you find a lot of complaints, and some people say, yeah, even Battlefield 5 is better or whatever, and I think, what? Battlefield 5 was so much criticized, like, it's just mind-boggling that people even start to say, yeah, this is worse than Battlefield 5, and okay, I have to admit, I also liked Battlefield 5 to some degree. Isn't my favorite Battlefield. Definitely like Battlefield 1 a lot more, but it's definitely on the better side of things, and you can definitely enjoy it, but keep in mind there are still some technical issues, some balancing issues. Hit registration is much better, but not perfect, but definitely much, much better compared to the beta, which was just, my opinion, really in a rough state, like a really rough state. And that is basically all there is to say on the technical side. Servers also run stable. I had like one time where I had to press retry when logging in, and the server said something went wrong. Only one time on release. else the release and server stuff was pretty smooth, I have to admit, compared to a lot of other games. If we think of New World, where suddenly a zillion people started to get on the server and were in queues for literally 6 hours straight, and then were kicked out of it and had to start anew. This was not the case here. So server-wise, this year was a lot smoother ride compared to that and even previous Battlefield releases. So it, in my opinion, is not as bad as people make it to be, though some of the criticism is definitely justified. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. I know talking far too long over everything here, and hope that you liked this. And if you do so, maybe press the like button, maybe leave a comment and tell me what you think of this, and maybe if you disappointed in this game. I'm really curious to know what exactly are the points you really hate. I know specialists are a huge criticism for a lot of people, and I definitely see the problem with it, but I personally somewhat I think it could have been worse than this, much worse, and so far I find it kind of interesting or even like it to some degree. So very curious what it is that people hate it so much. So I can understand that people might dislike it, but the amount of hate this particular system is getting right now is definitely far beyond what I would have expected. But maybe that's just me. Also, visually, I think the game looks also pretty decent, I have to admit. Especially the sandstorm. Like here you see a bit of, I assume, is this a sandstorm? It's the other map. But you also saw the tornado and so on. So it looks pretty awesome when it comes to particle effects. This map also pretty awesome. Hourglass is probably one of my favorite maps so far. But yeah, okay, so enough of that. I hope you enjoyed this. As said, do the YouTube stuff, like, comment, maybe subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed this, and see you next time. Goodbye.